Global Transformation Astrology, GTA, with William Stickevers.
This information that we've been seeing basically supports the main conclusions of the French Cometa report, where the United States has the greatest interest in concealing the research on recovered alien craft. And due to the developments from this research since 1947, the U.S. holds a position of great supremacy over all terrestrial adversaries. That's why I'm not so concerned, by the way, with the war with Russia or China. I think it would be a wipeout, right? Because we certainly have weapon systems far beyond hypersonic missiles. And the United States has implemented large-scale disinformation and cover-up campaigns regarding UFOs and alien visitation in order to maintain secrecy for as long as possible. And, so everything hit the White House in February 2009 when President Obama started his new initiative called We the People, by allowing people to submit petitions to their government and pledge to respond to those petitions that got the most significant traction and following. The petition with the highest number of submissions was the one called on President Obama to formally acknowledge an extraterrestrial presence engaging the human race and immediately release into the public domain all files from all agencies and military services related to this phenomenon. The response from the White House, from Phil Larson, right, the senior White House space policy and communications official, states, quote, "The U.S. government has no evidence that any life exists outside our planet or that an extraterrestrial presence has contacted or engaged any member of the human race. In addition, there is no credible information to suggest that any evidence is being hidden from the public's eye," close quote. So that basically shut down everything, right? There was a big clampdown during the entire Obama administration, right? So the Obama administration could have said this is a valid phenomenon that deserves much more attention than it's received, but it was clear that the president and the administration wanted to avoid addressing such topics as alien recovered technology, alien abduction, right? It was very clear that Obama was not going to be the disclosure president. And basically, we've been bamboozled again. And this is exactly from Carl Sagan. One of the saddest lessons of history is this: if we've been bamboozled long enough, we tend to reject any evidence of the bamboozle. We're no longer interested in finding out the truth. The bamboozle has captured us. It's simply too painful to acknowledge, even to ourselves, that we've been taken. Once you give a charlatan power over you, you almost never get it back. So the old bamboozles tend to persist as the new ones rise. Carl Sagan, The Demon Haunted World. So that's right. That's the end of the story. But something happens shortly after that, and that is the 2012 Mayan galactic alignment occurs in December of 2012. And I'll go into what that means in a minute. But when that galactic alignment is lining up, we get this directly in December. Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev, in an interview, made a statement about aliens being on Earth. So he was the Russian prime minister. He's not a reporter, right? He told the reporter every leader got a few files on the alien presence in the country and the human groups that monitor them. Okay. Now that was very telling, right? So during the Mayan calendar end date, which represents the rare alignment between the winter solstice crossing the galactic equator along the dark band of stars at the center of the Milky Way galaxy, and the Mayan calendar count date, or long count date, start date, right? So basically, the calendar goes back to 3114 BC. And the target date ended on December 21st, 2012. Now, the calendar does not end. That's the end date and the beginning of a new era, right? And that new era is the date of the Mayan fifth sun. So it was the end of an era from 3114 BC until 2012 AD, and the transition to a new era. And that new era started on December 21st, 2012, and would continue into 2013 32. So let me explain. So when you have the long count calendar, and then it's broken up into 260 sections. So this 5,125 year period is subdivided into 260 sections, resulting in nearly 20-year units of time that correlates very closely to the Jupiter-Saturn cycle of 19.86 years. And these 20-year intervals are known to the Maya as katuns. And katuns are generational markers for the Maya, each having their own set of prophecies, unique prophecies for each 20-year period. And these were read by the Mayan priests for the purpose of divination. So the katun, starting December 21st, 2012, until September 2032, is one based on the delineation of the Shilimbalam, right? That for half of the Katun, there will be food, right? For some misfortune. So let me read. For half of the Katun, there will be food, for half some misfortunes. This Katun brings the end of the word of God. It is a time of uniting for a cause. So let me break that down. So basically, when they interviewed, when journalists interviewed the Mayan priest who decreed what the prophecy was for this transition, right, into the world of the fifth sun. This is the beginning of the world of the fourth sun ended, and the world of the fifth sun started. And this 20-year transition into the world of that fifth sun, they said the following: scarcity in essential resources, global economic disaster, natural disasters increase, the collapse of false narratives, the collapse of the old world order, the collapse of false belief systems, the collapse in the confidence and trust of world leaders and government. A new paradigm begins to emerge as the old world order undergoes its final death throes. So this comes from a group of people who've been around for over 3,000 years, who developed a calendar extremely sophisticated, right? So this is not all stuff made up last minute. They made this prophecy back in 2012, right? That all journalists around the world. And basically, this is essentially what they said. Now, let's take a look, right? So this is the Katun period, started December 21st, 2012. It's the exact time. And this is when it will end, September 7th, 2032, right, at 6:43 a.m., right? So you could see this is the Katun period. And you could look at these charts, right? But what do I see right here? Sun, Pluto conjunction on the ascendant that sets the tone for the entire Katun period, indicating, right, if you look at this, the Sun Pluto is in a yaw configuration that augurs the process of collective spiritual maturation, requiring humanity to discard old dogmas, old belief systems, right, to restore its relationship with the divine. So, that's basically, right, where we see many of the intractable problems facing our civilization will reach a crisis level, causing great suffering that will deepen humanity and make it question and be more open to a greater understanding of the higher laws of life and the universe. So basically what it's saying is the unfolding of the apocalypse. An apocalypse is a disclosure of knowledge or revelation. In religious and occult concepts, it's usually a disclosure of something hidden, a vision of heavenly secrets that can make sense of earthly realities, for instance. So we could see, right, we have an unfolding apocalypse, and that correlates very interestingly closely with what we've seen with the planetary cyclic index.
To watch the full presentation and more like this on geopolitics, the economy, and world events from an archetypal and mundane astrological perspective, join the Global Transformation Astrology membership. Go to gta.williamstickevers.com. Become a GTA member today.